Welcome back, everybody. This is the Now Morning Show here on TTT. Remember, we are also live on Talk City 91.1 FM and on Facebook at TTT Live Online. It is our normal Monday morning segment where we talk with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, getting information, things that we need to know. Inspector Sheridan Hill is with us once again. And today, we are going to talk about sedition. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Rishi. Thank you.
So, what is sedition?
All right. So really, any seditious intention is an intention to bring hatred or contempt or to excite disaffection against government or the Constitution as by law established, or the House of Representatives or the Senate or administration of justice, to excite a person to attempt otherwise than by lawful means to procure the alteration of any matter in the state by law established, or to raise discontent or affection amongst inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, or to engender or promote feelings of ill will or hostility between one or more sections of the community on the one hand, and any other section or sections of the community on the other hand, or feelings of ill will towards hostility to or contempt for any class of inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago distinguished by race, color, religion, profession, calling, or employment, or to advocate or to promote with intent to destroy in whole or in part any identifiable group the commission of any of the following acts, namely killing members of the group or deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction.
So, in short, it's basically conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the state or an authority or an individual.
For the most part.
For the most part.
For the most part, or identifiable groups within society, or to bring about change, well, against the government.
And we have heard about sedition a lot in the recent past in this country. How does the police service deal with a case of sedition or reports of sedition?
Well, we'll have to investigate it, depending on the nature of the report. If it's something that is happening and clearly it's a breach of the law, then obviously we'll have to arrest that person.
Is it a frequent thing? Reports on sedition made often?
Well, I do have statistics. Off the top of my head, I won't say it's a regular thing. But sectors of society and persons at times come dangerously close to breaching the law. And the thing is, you always have to tell people, rights are not absolute. So freedom of speech doesn't mean that you can use obscene language, you can defame someone's character, you can incite someone to commit a crime, and so on. Freedom of movement is also curtailed by a number of other pieces of legislation. Freedom of expression as well. So you have the right to protest, you have the right to voice your dissatisfaction with the state, its policies, and so on. But there's a way in which you do it, and it must never breach the law.
And by breaching the law, you mean inciting something that can harm or degrade somebody?
Yeah. So if you're not pleased with the activities or the policies of the state, there's a way in which you do it, and you call for the removal by legal means. You're not pleased with your employer and your conditions of work and so on, you do it by legal means. So you can't obstruct the free flow of traffic. You can't make noise beyond a certain level. You can't interrupt persons from going about their daily lives. And all the other laws of Trinidad and Tobago, you can't breach those laws to say that I am expressing myself. I am, have the right to protest and I have the right to say what I want and do what I want.
Yeah, you mentioned the free flow of traffic. Now, a lot of times we would see people protesting and burning tires and blocking the roads. Would that be considered to be
that's
sedition?
a clear breach of the law.
Really?
That's a clear breach of the law. And those persons should be prosecuted.
Yeah, because I remember one of our previous conversations, we talked about the ways in which you can go about conducting a protest.
Exactly.
Right. So if somebody is found guilty or charged with sedition.
All right. So you can be charged summarily on indictment. So on summary conviction, you can be fined $3,000 and be imprisoned for 2 years, or on indictment, you can be fined $25,000 or be in prison for 5 years. And this is something that the police must get the approval of the Director of Public Prosecutions to initiate proceedings against an individual or a group.
Right, because you need to have some sort of safety provisions for people as well.
Exactly.
Under the law.
So the director of public prosecution, it's not like a normal obscene language where an officer can arrest you and take you before the court. If you're charging someone for sedition, we have to go to the director of public prosecutions and get his blessings before you can
move ahead with
yes.
it. Because one of the safeguards as well, and you can correct me, is that a person can also be prosecuted under the common law or any other act, but he shall not be punished twice under the same offence.
Yeah, well, that's a general principle of law. You can't be,
Right.
It's called double jeopardy. You can't be punished twice for the same offence.
So with social
we can't
media,
charge you under this act and then charge you under another act.
Right.
For the same, it's
just one charge across the board. Now, with the use of social media, how would people know their limit in terms of their posts being made on social media? Because, I mean, you reach a wide audience and you hear things and see things all the time.
And I'm happy you mentioned that, because it's not just the person or persons who are committing the act. It's persons who publish, if it's broadcasted, if the information is disseminated, all of those persons are also liable. So you always have to keep in mind that your actions must always be responsible and within the framework of the law. The message I want to leave with Trinidad and Tobago this morning is that no right is absolute. So freedom of speech means, yes, you can say only so much and don't cross that line. Freedom of expression means the same thing. And association as well, because you have a number of pieces of legislation that say if you associate in a particular way with certain groups, you can be prosecuted. So no right is absolute. That's the message I want to leave with Trinidad and Tobago this morning.
And just one other quick thing. Is it true that the president, if the president is of the opinion that a publication or statement is seditious, they can ban it from coming into the country?
I believe so. I believe so, yes.
Well, interesting conversation, and we look forward to next week to hearing more and keep the people informed about what is happening with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and give them information they need to know as well.
Thank you very much. I'm always happy to be here.
It's always a pleasure having you, Inspector. All right, thank you very much, Inspector Sheridan Hill of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.